Hi, I'm Harvey Briggs. I'm the editor and publisher of Rides and Drives, and today I'm at the Monticello Motor Club in New York driving the 2022 Toyota GR86. The GR86 is a two-door sports car, lightweight, that competes with the Mazda Miata and not a whole lot else. So the 86, actually the GR86, is all new for 2022 pretty much, and that is reflected in the name GR, which stands for Gazoo Racing. The racing program, which is their sports car racing program, brings their knowledge and their experience to this vehicle for 2022. It starts with all new sheet metal. They've redesigned everything. It is longer, it is a little lower, but it's still a really good looking package. They have done everything from the ground up with a new frame that has greater torsional stiffness, so the suspension can do its job better. Speaking of that suspension, they've reworked that as well with new spring rates and shock dampers to really help it be more balanced. And balance actually is necessary here because they have upped the horsepower for 2022. That was my biggest complaint with the 86 before, is that it was just, let's face it, anemic. And now with this new 2.4 liter boxer engine, it makes 228 horsepower and about 187 pound-feet of torque. And the good news is that torque is available at much lower RPMs, so it's much more streetable and it's a lot more fun on the track. So we are on the road in the 2022 Toyota GR86. It's primarily a new car. You do have more high-strength steel that makes it stiffer and gives it better torsional rigidity. That allows you to really focus on tuning the suspension and on dialing in the steering on a car. And so, because you have a consistent platform to do that on, and they've done that really well in this car. I just drove the previous generation car on the track and this new generation 86 on the track back to back, and marked difference in just how it handles mostly at the limit. All right, so the 86 comes with one engine option. That's a 2.4 liter boxer engine. That's horizontally opposed cylinders. For this generation, they've bored out those cylinders a little more, and they also reworked the intake manifold. So what you have is a big boost in horsepower. This makes 228 horsepower now, which makes a big difference on this car. It was underpowered, to say the least. In the previous generation, one of my biggest complaints about it was how little power it had. I mean, you go on YouTube, look at drag races versus 86 versus Miata, and Miata smokes it. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. This, with the manual transmission, will do 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds. In this automatic version, 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds, which is quick enough for a car like this. This is one of my favorite types of cars. It's light, it's nimble, you know, it's the kind of car that you want to drive and smile. It's same with the Miata. It's that old Colin Chapman Lotus formula. Less weight, less weight, less weight, enough power, and great handling. I think they realized they had something good in the concept of the previous generation 86, but in execution it just didn't live up to what, you know, drivers wanted. So that's really what this is all about, is providing a much more enthusiastic experience for drivers right out of the box. So let's talk about the GR name. This is the second vehicle in the Toyota lineup to wear that badge. GR stands for Gazoo Racing, which is essentially Toyota's sports car racing division out of Japan. They're the guys who prep their cars for Le Mans. They have worked and tuned this and worked along with Akio Toyoda, the chairman of the company, and he himself is a master driver. Every presentation I've ever been to, they have reminded me of that fact. Interesting, in this car, they said he was in an early prototype of it, and he drove it and said, you have to fix the steering, it's not good enough. I don't know what the tires are doing when I'm really pushing it. And so they went back and they really worked on the overall steering feel. It is an EPS system and it is fairly light, but it does have enough feedback so that when you're on the track, you know what the wheels are doing. Monticello Motor Club track is a really technical track with a lot of, you know, fun little things like, you know, some tight off-camber corners off of a really quick straightaway. So it's, you know, the car has to be balanced to handle those well. And you can really feel it rotate. You can really tell where the tires are. You turn in is really predictable. There's no lag in that. And, you know, I haven't done it yet, but I have a feeling that when you put it into track mode, this is going to be a mean little drift machine. And I am looking forward to getting one on a loan back in Madison where I can put that theory to the test. Pricing is not available yet for the 86. That should be coming soon, but the base model, which, you know, has all the power, all the goodies in terms of the automatic transmission with paddle shifters, manual, 6-speed manual available, you know, the suspension setup is all the same between the base and the premium. You do have 18-inch tires on the premium and 17-inch tires on the base, so that's going to be a difference. These are also high performance Michelin tires on this premium version, where on the base version they're more of a sport tire. So, you know, you are getting a step up in aggressiveness in the rubber, but very little else changes. Also, you know, the other difference between the base and this premium model will be interior appointments. This, you have leather trim seats with Alcantara. You've got these nice Alcantara surfaces here. You still have the same touchscreen here. Again, nice and simple and easy to operate with volume and tuning knobs, so I'm happy. All that stuff is good. The big difference is in the stereo system. In the premium version, you get a couple extra speakers, so that's fine. But we're not worried about the stereo today. We're worried about how this thing drives. And, you know, I'm enjoying it, even though this is the automatic version. And if I were going to buy this car, just like a Miata, I'd buy it with a manual. This is not a bad automatic transmission, and if you flip it over here and go into manual mode, it shifts pretty well. big gap there between first and second. Second and third is better, and a decent drop to fourth. But so when you're doing your acceleration with the automatic, you could feel that big gap between first and second gear, and that'll limit your 0 to 60 time. And I think that's probably where the biggest difference is between this and the manual. You know, it's not a Porsche with the PDK. And if you're buying this car and expecting that, then maybe you'll be a little disappointed. But you're also spending $30,000 instead of $70,000. And that's the thing I love about this is, you know, Toyota said, you know, we're still going to make a sports car for people who don't have all the money in the world. You know, I think Miata is really the one straight ahead competitor with this. Maybe GTI, again, is in that same class in terms of a fun machine, but again, that's front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive, and a hatchback versus this, you know, coupe. You know, one of the things I noticed on the track, and I asked them about this, I don't know if it's just me wanting it to be so, but this, you can really heel and toe this 6-speed version of this a lot more easily than the previous generation. I feel like the pedal height is matched better. I talked to them this morning, the folks in the marketing department, and said, so are you going to do a spec series with this vehicle similar to the Mazda Cup? And their answer was, stay tuned. So, you know, this could be a really nice, affordable option for someone to go racing, which would be great to have another option besides the Mazda Cup. So again, it's a small, lightweight sports car. It's got enough power now. You know, I've heard some people say, oh, I really wish it had a turbo in it. And, you know, of course, you always want more power, but 228 on a 2,800 pound car, that's pretty good. And 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds in a car that feels this lively, that's pretty good. So, you know, I look at this and say, for under $30,000, your options are now really Miata, base GTI, and this. And, you know, that's it. So I think Toyota's done a really nice job in upgrading this, from the styling to the handling to the overall performance to the technology in here. They've done a really good job, and I'm looking forward to seeing how other people feel it does once it gets in the hands of consumers. So that's the 2022 Toyota GR86. Tell us what you think in the comments. For more information, check out ridesanddrives.com, and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. For Rides and Drives, I'm Harvey Briggs, and I'll see you somewhere down the road.